Buenos dias, niñas, tia, tio, mama, papa, abuelo, abuela. Safe practices first. And today I'm doing the lesson on the beach. The beaches are open. So I am doing our lesson about the beach. Isn't that exciting? But before we go, don't forget, before you even start to go, don't forget safe practices. Girls, wash your hands. Don't forget to mask up. Anyway, we are going to do our exercise today. Vamos a la playa. That means let us go to the beach. All right? So going to the beach with school. Let's see how that works out. So we are looking at the model of Maracas Beach using 3D shapes. Yes, there are 3D shapes in our environments, and there are 3D shapes at Maracas Beach, the beautiful Maracas Beach. So here we have the background, which is the mountains, the sky, the cloud, and the foreground, which is the sun. But in between, this is what we are focusing on. We are focusing on this in today's lesson. When we talk about 3D shapes in our environment, you may have used the words solids, right? So when we speak about solids, we talk about a rectangular prism, also known as a cuboid, a sphere, a cube, a cone, a cylinder, a triangular prism, or a square base pyramid, or just a pyramid. So in my home, I just showed you a few items that we could use in our model building. If you look around, I am sure you're going to see things in your home with our 3D shapes. So today we are looking at the guard boot in particular. So we have our background and our foreground. I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. But if you look carefully at our lifeguard boot, the top, it's a square base pyramid. The base, it looks like a cube. It looks like a cube, but cut off. All right? Remember that, girls. All right. So I just took a large box, also known as a cuboid, and I cut it in half so I could get my model to fit in there. If you have blue construction paper, green construction paper, fine. Go ahead and cut it out for the sky and for the mountains. I didn't have any of that. What I did was I had paper and paint. If you have colored pencils, fine. Crayons, fine. But remember, color it, we want a strong impact, okay? So here in my background, I painted my sky and my mountains. I didn't make it 3D. I just left it flat or 2D. Here we have, I left here white for the sky, and I wanted the water just to be part of it. I didn't want it to be the whole thing, because this area, girls, this is where our lessons will take place. And I say lessons. Today's lesson is the first of 2 other lessons. Right. So I forgot to put in the sun, so I just cut out my sun and stuck it in there. Then I made my clouds. Now girls, I want you to use whatever you have in your home environment. If you have cotton, right? If you have cotton, you will be able to roll it into a ball to create the clouds. I didn't have cotton. I used toilet paper, and I created an irregular spherical shape. I call it irregular because it's not perfectly round, but it's still spherical, okay? Right. I love Lipton tea, and I use the smallest box. You may have Lipton tea, you may have a small box. I want to create the lifeguard boot. So I found the smallest box in my home, the smallest cuboid, okay? When we're talking about solids, we're looking at for a cuboid. And I took it and I cut it, right? Because I noticed from the picture before, it was sort of, it is a cube. So I just sort of cut it and I let 2 flaps open. This is the part where the lifeguards will be able to run down. So this is a little doorway here, okay? So I draw a line here, and I draw another line here, which I cut, okay? Leaving the flap down. Now, girls, you can get help doing this, huh? You can get help. All right. So here you see it made it properly, right? Now we are going to make the roof. So I'm going to measure a square. My square was 8 centimeters from 0 to 8. Remember, a square has 4 equal sides. So that means the other sides of my square must also be 8 centimeters. There I have my square, okay? Perfect square. When I have my square now, the next thing I'm going to do is fold it in half like this, where I will get a triangle. Make sure and rub your fingers at the edge there because we want the creases. We are making the roof of the guard boot. I'll fold it again. Then when I open it, look at what I have. I have a square base pyramid, another solid. All right? Now, here is my guard boot. Here's my roof, right? I use some matchsticks to give it a little lift, right? See the matchsticks there? I stuck it there. I also cut a thin strip of red paper just to put around it because if you notice, the guard boot had a red rim around it. There it is. So I have my background with the sky, the mountains, the sun, the foreground. I left a big area because here's where I want to do some more solids, which you know of. And I want you to think for the next lesson, what solids you think we could add on to this. So far, I'm seeing a cube, a triangular based pyramid, right? Let's get this to move. All right, this is what we have in the end. So from the end, we have my spheres. Look them up here. They are irregular. Some are perfectly round, and some of them are a little out of shape. Here you can see my cube. Look, the cube is here. Here you can see my pyramid. It's here. All right, girls? So I'm sharing with you now the model. See, I use a pizza box. It's wide enough. Right, so now I expect you to get help because I know you can't do this all by yourself. Some of you might be wise enough to be able to do this by yourself, right? Let me see that I have this up. Let me put it up, right? So from it, you can see, right? Notice I left the water just at the edge there, so there's enough space for other things. And my sky and clouds. Adios.